Today on Recipe for Health, foods that actually help to clean your teeth. Hello, I'm Dr. Lisa Callahan, your host for the TV Food Network's new fitness, health, and nutrition show, Recipe for Health. Thanks for joining me, and please call in to join the conversation. The number is 212-398-2300. For years we've heard that an apple a day can help keep the doctor away, but what about the dentist? Joining us with the answer is Dr. Robert Veligdon. He is on staff at the Presbyterian Hospital here in New York and has a private practice in Manhattan. Welcome, Robert.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Great. Now, for all these years I've been using toothpaste to clean my teeth, and now you're telling me that there are foods that can work just as well?
Absolutely. You know, dentists like to talk about cleaning teeth, but my patients talk about whitening, so I'm going to talk about that as well as the cleaning.
Great.
You know, the buzzword is tooth whitening, tooth bleaching, but what people don't know is that foods you can eat can actually help to clean, and in some cases whiten the teeth, help to eliminate stains from the teeth.
Well, you know, that's really interesting, Robert, and I know you brought some foods to demonstrate that.
Yes, I did.
So why don't we start? Let's start with your carrots down here on the end.
Well, I've put them in sort of categories, and I call these certain first grouping of foods the brush foods.
Brush foods?
Yes, brush foods. The reason I call them that is because they act like a brush to scrape away plaque and stains. They're called, the general grouping is cruciferous foods, and in preparing this, it struck me that probably you get the word crudité from cruciferous, so it helps to remember which foods they are by thinking of what you have in a crudité, which is carrots and broccoli, right? Cauliflower, celery, which would also be a floss food, but you know those strings from the floss, but they're a little bit hard to handle. And these foods, because they're crispy and crunchy, as you're eating them, the friction helps to scrape away the plaque from the top of the teeth, but also as they go down the sides of the teeth, away from the sides of the teeth, where you really see the teeth and see stains that build up and plaque that builds up. Now,
and so I suppose from what you're saying that it's better if they're raw vegetables rather than cooked vegetables.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, with the crudité, you know that those are, did I say that right? My French, I never took French.
It sounds great to me.
So, yes, raw vegetables are better because they're crispier and crunchier. When they're cooked, of course, they're softened. And what you want is to both exercise the teeth and gums. By the way, these harder vegetables that are really crunchy help to exercise the ligament that holds the teeth and the bones. So it really helps to stimulate the blood supply, etc. But I'm not going to get, that's health stuff that people want to hear about cleaning and whitening of the teeth.
Well, you know, that's just another reason for people to eat these vegetables that we're always trying to get them to eat for their health. So now we can add
So
whitening your teeth.
That's right. Cleaning the teeth, and it'll help to take stains off and plaque off. And plaque is what turns into tartar, and tartar stains, so they can actually, in the long run, lighten their teeth or whiten their teeth.
Great. Well, Robert, before we go on, because I know we'd like to talk about all these things, our phones are ringing off the hook with people who want to ask you a question. So why don't we hear from a viewer? We have a question from Alicia in New York.
Hello, I'm calling to find out, are you saying that I can actually just eat apples instead of brushing my teeth, or is this just a benefit?
Right. Apples. I heard, yes, apples. We have 3 apples here, but apples are actually my favorite kind of food for cleaning your teeth because they're number one, they're crispy. They're not a cruciferous food, but they're crispy and crunchy, so as they slide past the teeth, they tend to clean the teeth by scraping and friction, but also they stimulate saliva. Now, they sort of fall in another category of food, what I call the mouthwash foods. Now, the reason I say mouthwash is that they stimulate nature's mouthwash, which is saliva. And apples are one of the foods that stimulate saliva, along with these tart citrus fruits and cheese, like a tart cheese, like a cheddar cheese, which, by the way, has something that inhibits the bacteria that cause plaque and cavity. There's something in cheddar cheese, but in a lot of cheeses, and also there's calcium there.
So you'd recommend for our caller, Alicia, that she have an apple, but
exactly,
but not in place of brushing her teeth.
Of course, exactly right, exactly right. And these are brush foods because they're crunchy and crispy, so scrape away plaque and staining. And also, they're mouthwash foods because they stimulate, especially tart apples. Anything tart and citrusy, like the limes. This this lime looks like it's been in the refrigerator for about 3 years. But anything that's tart or even bitter, sometimes like chili peppers.
All that
also
stimulating saliva.
Exactly. So
Great.
the apples I like because they stimulate saliva, they're crispy and crunchy, and also they sort of satisfy your sweet tooth. And they have fruit sugar, which is not quite as bad as the sucrose from things like sugary
Right.
gums and candies and that kind of
Robert, lots of great information. Alicia, I'd like to thank you for that phone call, and we're going to take another call from Charles in La Jolla.
Hi. I have a question about gums. Sometimes, they advertise the Dentine gums and things like that. Would that help clean my teeth?
Chewing gums.
I'm honored, all the way from La Jolla. Is that La Jolla, New Jersey?
La Jolla, California.
Chewing gums.
She's
You know, chewing
asking
gums,
about chewing gums, and I know you have these that you might want to talk
chewing gums
about.
very, very similar to, they're not crunchy and crispy like the cruciferous foods, but in the action of chewing, you have friction on the top, so they have to rub the stains, especially off the top of the teeth. But also in the chewing gum, they help to stimulate the saliva, so they're both can scrape the stains off the top of the teeth, not so much the sides of the teeth, but they stimulate saliva. In addition, of course, sugar-free gums are what we recommend.
Because what do sugar-free gums do that's actually
sugar,
good?
Sucrose gums has the sugar feeds the bacteria that cause not only tooth decay, but are involved in plaque, and plaque causes tartar and stains.
We're going to have you back because we need to take a break. When we come back on Recipe for Health, so stay tuned for another bite of our Recipe for Health.